So welcome, everyone. Welcome, congregants and friends. And I'm delighted to be with you here back at the Bristol. We haven't been here in a few weeks. And to be with those of you on Zoom. We have 28 people with us today between here and on Zoom. So it's a nice amount of us. So thank you, everyone. And there's people in different states. There's people all around. So it's really a gift. We are such a broad sea of congregants and friends. So our topic today is, so what exactly is a blessing? And you might think, really, we need to have a service to ask what a blessing is? But to begin, let me start with a story, just to illustrate why this question is worth asking. Can you just make sure everybody's muted online? Thank you. So this guy buys a Lamborghini, and he's very excited. So he gets in his new car and he drives to the Catholic Church, and he walks in and he says, "Father, can you bless my Lamborghini?" And the priest says, I don't know. What's a Lamborghini?" So he sighs, he leaves, he goes, "Oh, thank you. No, all right, I'll just go." And he went down the street to the Methodist church, and he walked in, and he found the minister, and he said, "Hi, would you be able to bless my Lamborghini?" And he said, I don't know. What's a Lamborghini?" And he left, walks out. He says, "Thank you." And then he looks, and he sees a UU congregation down the street. And he says, "Oh, Unitarian Universalist, let me check that." And he goes down with his Lamborghini, and he walks in, he says to the minister, Can you please bless my Lamborghini?" And she answers, "Wow, congratulations on the new Lamborghini. But what's a blessing?" I love that joke. I pull it out every few years. Well, Unitarian Universalists have often avoided traditional religious language, especially words like blessing. And they've done this pretty much from our inception. And yet those words still touch something in us, words like blessing. Perhaps because beneath all the layers of theology or tradition, there's something essentially human in there. So today I'd like to explore with you what is a blessing, what might be a blessing, and what might blessings look like in our lives today, in our secular spiritual community, and also how might we recognize and offer blessings, especially during this time of year. So I chose this topic today instead of gratitude for Thanksgiving, because it's the month of Thanksgiving, and we all, this is the time where we speak of gratitude and thanks most of the time. And so gratitude and blessing, though, are close companions. But blessing takes us one step further, and that's why I invited blessing into today. Blessing names what is good. Gratitude receives what is good. When we say this is a blessing, we awaken awareness that something is healing, or that something healing or holy is present. To bless is to see good. To be grateful is to feel the good. Both draw us out of isolation and into relationship. To bless is to wish goodness for another, to recognize the sacred in what is before us. To be grateful is to remember that we ourselves are held in the same web of giving and receiving. Blessing and gratitude are related experiences of belonging, reminding us that we are deeply connected. So what is a blessing? At its heart, is it too dark in here? Are you all good? You like it?
Yes,
okay. Yeah, we tried doing a little darker thing today. At its heart, a blessing is an expression of goodwill. Goodwill, hope, or sacred recognition. The word itself comes from an Old English term called bloodsyn, which means to make holy or to mark with blood. I know it's a little creepy. It's referred to ancient rituals of consecration or of setting something apart as being sacred. Over time, the meaning softened and deepened, and blessing became less about separating the holy and more about recognizing or unveiling what is already sacred. Now, I wanted to talk about this a little bit. So, you heard me using the words holy or sacred, right? And those are also not so often used in UU circles. But in this capacity, I invite us to look at the word holy as whole, not necessarily holy from a divine source, but looking at it being complete within ourselves as we recognize ourselves as Unitarians, as we believe in original goodness, right? And also sacred, I invite you to look at the word sacred not as also something that is of the divine, or you can believe that if you'd like, but also what is of greatest value to us, right? Our children, our pets, our country, our relationships, the ones we love, right? So part of this experience of blessing, well, I'll go into that in a minute. So when did blessings begin? Blessings are among the oldest of human gestures. Long before we had written language, people offered blessings. They offered it with a touch, with a breath, or with a word. Parents blessing their children, travelers blessing one another before a journey, communities blessing rain, harvest, or a new life or food. Ancient Sumerians, Egyptians, Hebrews, and Vedic texts all include blessing. Early prayers or gestures linking human and the divine were all part of blessing. To bless even then was to acknowledge relationship. But in our secular world and in the world we live in now, blessings are, we realize that blessings don't have to be offered by somebody considered an ordained person or somebody that is has a direct connection with the divine. We all offer blessings, and we do it all the time, one way or another. So in these days, we offer blessings regularly. Take what happens when somebody sneezes. Without thinking, we say, Gesundheit. But post-COVID, bless you may be just another word for saying, I hope you're okay, and please don't get me sick, as we take a step back. But many and the reason we say bless you, does anybody know why we say bless you, or where that came from?
Because our hearts stop.
That was where it came from. It was from that, and they believed in many, many years ago. I don't remember when this began. I didn't get that, but that when you sneezed, a little bit of your soul escaped your body, leaving a person vulnerable to harm or to maybe to the devil. So bless you is like spiritual duct tape. It keeps the soul in. But though it was superstitious, in a way, it's kind of sweet. Because when we say bless you to somebody, we're caring about them. Even a stranger. It's a moment of a gesture of connection. Rabbi Toby Spitzer writes that saying a blessing is an opportunity for a particular kind of awareness. She invites us to imagine blessing as a simple plate of vegetables. And while looking at it and blessing it, notice and acknowledge the sun, the soil, the water, and the hands that planted, harvested, and carried this food to our table. And to see in that and noticing our connection to the entire web of life. Similarly, in the Buddhist tradition, in the practices of Thich Nhat Hanh's community, before a meal, they always pause and they have a reading, a blessing reading. I have a copy of it here. It's a little long, so I'm not going to go through the whole reading, but I'm going to read the first line to you. And it starts with, this food is the gift of the entire universe, the earth, the sky, and much hard work. And there's copies of this blessing on the table. I'm going to ask Leandra also to put it in our weekly reader next week. So the blessing that the rabbi offered and the blessing of our Buddhist friends are really the same but different language. It's a blessing of awareness. It awakens us to this interdependence of all of life. And it's not magic. It's attention, it's reverence, and it's expressed. It's out loud. When I started, you've heard me, I've spoken a few times about how fortunate I was to have been involved in street ministry. And I started doing that maybe, 14, 15 years ago. And one of the things I noticed that was extraordinary about this experience was nearly every person that I met, introduced myself to, connected with, offered something to, at the end of our interaction, they all said, "God bless you," or "bless you." Not one, but just about everyone. Each one seemed to carry a sacred presence, these folks that I met. They were encountering hunger and experiencing homelessness. And each encounter that I had with them, I felt like I was being anointed. Not with oil, but with sincere gratitude and a profound connection to a stranger. I've been a minister for many years now, and I've never heard these words repeated over and over in one day as I do when I'm in the street connecting with people who might be struggling. They seemed like angels, somehow giving back to me something more than I could give to them. It changed how I understood blessing. And it's something we recognize and exchange, human to human, heart to heart. The word blessing sits quietly in the center of the great rituals of life. Right? We bless a baby when they come into the world, when we have children. We bless marriage, we bless love. We bless birthdays, anniversaries, farewells, retirements. We bless their future. In each moment of recognition and validation, this is a part of blessing is not bound by religion or creed or belief. It's simply the act of wishing well, sincerely, intentionally, and reverently. I'm working with a couple right now who are be married this April, and when they came to me, they made it abundantly clear they wanted no religion, anything that smelled like religion, no G word, no prayers, none of that, no scripture. But when I mentioned the word blessing, they both smiled and agreed, yeah, let's have a blessing. The word spoke to them beyond the constraints of religion. Blessing transcends doctrine. It's about connection. When we bless something, something shifts in us and between us. Blessing moves us from lack to abundance, from fear to compassion, from complaint to gratitude. There is no such thing as a negative blessing. Every sincere blessing enlarges the world a little bit, making more room for love. In ancient times, when a guest arrived, or a stranger or a friend, one might, if they had the means or the money, they might anoint them with oil as a gesture of warmth, abundance, and goodwill. It said we welcome you and we honor you. Imagine if we practiced that kind of intention today with strangers. Imagine if we blessed our neighbors, even the ones with the yard signs that make us cringe. If we are to dissolve the separation that divides us, the othering, the fear, the resentment, we can't always wait for somebody else to do it. It might start with us. Perhaps it may begin with a blessing. When I was ordained, one of the elder ministers arrived. It was one of the most impactful days in my life. And she invited us out into a garden. And she anointed us, one by one. And I don't remember her name. but I'll remember the feeling of her hand on my forehead and the warmth as she looked deeply into my eyes, and the sincere sense of being recognized wholly and unconditionally. And 13 years since, I carry that blessing. It's very alive in me. So alive. Blessing is not about bestowing holiness. It's about recognizing it. It's about seeing the sacred thread that's already runs through everything. Do you remember when we shared our thread that day? Do you remember the blessing we experienced in that thread? So as we approach this season of Thanksgiving, instead of listing what we are grateful for, what if we asked, what and whom can I bless? Where can I anoint, acknowledge, or affirm the goodness in another? A friend, a stranger, a family member, or even myself. Perhaps, just perhaps, together we can carry new blessings forward for each other, for this community, and for a world that needs them so deeply. Thank you, and may it be so. And so it is. If you like this video, please like us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click on the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you.